So, while it's clear that Republican Carl DeMaio has secured the top spot in the race for California's 75th Assembly District during yesterday's primary election, it is not at all clear whether it will be fellow Republican Andrew Hayes or Democrat Kevin Juza who will secure the second place spot for the general election runoff to face DeMaio in November. Here's why. So, the initial election returns as the night began at 8:30 are shown here, with the initial vote totals for each candidate. You can see Carl DeMaio is in first place with 43%. Democrat Kevin Juza has 20, Hayes 15%, and then the minor candidates below. And here's where we ended up at the end of the night, as each candidate's vote total increased as election day ballots, I assume it was election day ballots, were counted. And then by subtracting where we ended up with where we started, we can see how many new votes each candidate picked up. Carl DeMaio picked up 38,000 about. Kevin Juza only 687, and Andrew Hayes 2,354. By adding all the new votes together, you can then determine the percentage of the new votes that were counted that each candidate got. So of the new votes that came in, DeMaio got about half. Hayes got a third, and look, the Democrats, all three of them, barely got anything. Kevin Juza only got 9% of the new votes that were counted, and then the other Democrats 8 and 3, the minor Republican 4, and that's very significant. That basically all of the ballots that were counted between the initial results and the updated results were either for DeMaio or Hayes. That helps Hayes potentially pass Juza if this trend continues. As of right now, he only trails him by 2,140 votes. So the Registrar of Voters has given us some important data. Countywide, they've told us exactly how many ballots they've counted, and then they're guessing here about how many more they have left to go. So by adding those numbers together, we can expect that about 700,000 ballots will be counted countywide. Now, so far, if you add together all of the ballots that have been counted for all 6 candidates in the Assembly District, it's about 78,000 ballots. So that's 18% of what we've counted so far. And because we have a guess of about how many are left to be counted, we can apply that 18% to that number, and then we can see that there's going to be about 50,000 ballots left to be counted in this race. So 78,000 have been counted, and there's 50,000 left to be counted. Right now, I'm assuming that if the trend continues, about 38% of those 50,000 ballots will be cast for either Andrew Hayes or Kevin Juza. At this point, the only ballots that matter are those that are counted for Hayes and Juza. This is or cast for Hayes or Juza, rather. This is essentially a two-way battle for second. At this point, a new ballot cast for DeMaio or one of the other candidates might as well not matter. So that 38% number is, I'm just assuming that the trend continues. So I added Hayes' 29% to Juza's 9 to get 38. If about 38% of the remaining ballots are for one of those two candidates, that means we have about 19,000 ballots left that are going to be determining the critical battle for second. And the break-even point, the amount of these outstanding ballots that Hayes would have to win in order to catch Juza and gain that second place spot, would be 56%. If 38% of the outstanding ballots are for one of these two candidates, Hayes has to win 56%. If he does that, then they'll both end up at the same number. Hayes will surpass Juza and take the second place spot. But look, Hayes won 77% of the ballots that were counted between the start of the reporting of election returns and the end. And he only needs to win 56% of the assumed 19,000 ballots that are going to be cast for either him or the main Democrat in the race. Up here I have some dummy data that we can fill in as things go along. So tomorrow there will be a new batch of returns expected in the afternoon, and we'll be able to put in how many new votes each of the 6 candidates picked up, the percent of the new votes they got, and then the updated total. And from there we can revise how many votes Hayes will need to obtain in order to catch Juza, and whether or not he's on track to gain that second place spot. So it's definitely not over. We'll know more tomorrow, but considering how well Hayes did in the ballots that were counted in between the start and end of election night, and the fact that he only needs to win 56% of what's left for the Hayes Juza two-way race, and the fact that Democrats tend to mail in their ballots early, and a lot of those ballots are likely included in the count already. This isn't as hard a lift as it may seem. Again, we'll know more tomorrow, and I have a model. We'll be able to build out this model more as time goes by. But right now, Hayes is in a decent shape to get second, and this really still is any man's race.